Hey, internet sister, are you ready to walk 'em like a dog? Yeah, then let's walk 'em like a dog. We about to walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. The internet sister about to walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. The internet sister about to walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We gon' walk 'em like a dog and we ain't gon' get tired. Just before we start walking, y'all please like and subscribe. Walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We gon' walk 'em like a dog and we ain't gon' get tired. Just before we start walking, y'all please like and subscribe. Walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We gon' walk 'em like a dog and we ain't gon' get tired. Just before we start walking, y'all please like and subscribe. Walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Hey, internet sister, are you ready to walk 'em like a dog? Yeah, then let's walk 'em like a dog. We about to walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. The internet sister about to walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. The internet sister about to walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We gon' walk 'em like a dog and we ain't gon' get tired. Just before we start walking, y'all please like and subscribe. Walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We gon' walk 'em like a dog and we ain't gon' get tired. Just before we start walking, y'all please like and subscribe. Walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We gon' walk 'em like a dog and we ain't gon' get tired. Just before we start walking, y'all please like and subscribe. Walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Hey, internet sister, are you ready to walk 'em like a dog? Yeah, then let's walk 'em like a dog. We about to walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. The internet sister about to walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. The internet sister about to walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We gon' walk 'em like a dog and we ain't gon' get tired. Just before we start walking, y'all please like and subscribe. Walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. Come on in, come on in, come on in. we start walking, y'all please like and subscribe. Walk 'em like a dog, walk 'em like a dog. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on in.
I'm sorry. Mic check, mic check. Welcome to the Healthy and Wealthy Internet Sister JK channel. Can you all hear me? If you can hear me, press 7 down in that chat. You guys, let's get in here. Let's talk about it. Please come on in, guys, and press 7 down below if you all can hear me. Mic check. Okay, great. You all can hear me. Good job. Good job. Now, you guys, let's get in here. Let's talk about it. Um, Come on in. Let's get into it. Tonight's discussion is about a case that has brought a lot of pain, strong opinions, and emotions. Okay. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge that there are real families involved, real people hurting, and lives that have been forever changed. This is not a celebration of anyone's pain, right? This is not a celebration of anyone's pain. Let's stay mindful. We know we're going to have some trolls may come in here because there is a lot of people that's out here celebrating other people's pain. But I want you guys to know here on the Internet Sister JK channel, that's not what we're doing over here. We realize that it's real families involved. We realize that it is real people hurting. Okay, we do realize that it's pain on both sides. So let's get in here and let me throw out my disclaimer. I just want you guys to know that this is not a platform for bullying, harassment, or attacking either family. We can discuss the facts, the legal process, and our opinions respectfully. Okay? My heart goes out to everyone affected. Okay? A young life was lost, and another young person future has been, okay, impact. Let's get that out. Let's get that understood. Regardless of where you stand, there is hurt on all sides. And I want to let you guys know, because like I said, this is an open panel and I welcome anyone to join. Okay? As we have this conversation, I ask everyone to remember that compassion and respect should guide our words tonight. We may not all agree, but we can disagree without being disrespectful. And you guys know that's something the Internet Sister talk about all the time. Okay? You can grab the link, but I want you to know tonight my panel rules: respect both families, no threats, insults, or name calling, discussion, actions, and facts, no personal attacks. Please, y'all, no personal attacks. Allow others to finish speaking. You know, we ran into that problem before here on the Internet Sister JK channel. So I just want to throw that out. Allow others to finish speaking. Keep comments focused on the case, okay? And border lessons. Remember that real people are affected by what we say. 1 second, guys. Hold for Mic check. Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear? Go out and come back in. Mic check, mic check. Can y'all hear me? Drop seven down there if y'all can hear me. I see where you all are saying no sounds. Can you guys hear me? Mic check. I did to place you guys on hold. You guys heard my beach waves. But can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Mic check, mic check. Can you hear me? Okay, you guys can hear me, but you didn't hear the audio playing. You didn't hear absolutely nothing from the video. Okay, let me go back out and restart this video. Okay, let me go back out. Okay, let me see if you guys can hear it now. Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear? Can y'all hear this video? Y'all can hear this video. It's Jeff Metcalf. It's the twins' father, y'all. No, not the audio. Somebody said they can't hear the audio. Y'all leave out and come back in. The ones who can't hear it, leave out, come back in. Let me know if that makes a difference. Let me know if that make a difference. I'm finna play it now. I'm about to hit play now. Let's see if that would make a difference. Y'all still can't hear it? It's loud. Y'all still can't hear it? No, no difference. Let's see. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so this is another audio. I'm just going to play this audio here first and see if y'all can hear this one. Let me know if y'all can hear this audio here. Let me know. Can y'all hear it? Can y'all hear this audio? Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. So you guys couldn't hear neither one of the audios. Let me see. Oh, I really wanted y'all to listen to these audios. These videos here. I definitely wanted you guys to be able to hear um these videos. Hold on one second, guys. Let me try to fix this. Hold on one second, guys. Can y'all hear it? Can y'all hear it? Was y'all able to hear? I need y'all to drop 7. Can y'all hear? Were y'all able to hear that audio? No, y'all couldn't hear it. Okay, y'all couldn't hear it. Let me go back. Let me try to drop it again. I dropped a couple of them, y'all, because we have a couple I want y'all to see. Um, Let me share this one instead and see if this one will work. Can y'all hear this one? Let me know if y'all can hear this one. Y'all hear this one? Can y'all hear Carmelo parents talking? Okay, this Carmelo's parents on the screen, y'all. Y'all can't hear them? Oh, none of my videos working. The devil is a liar. Okay. Okay, y'all. Let me try it. Let me try something else. Let me remove him off the stage here. This is crazy. When I tell y'all, I made sure I was on the. I'm on the MacBook. I normally don't have a problem when I use my desktop or my MacBook. Normally, my iPad give me the problem when I'm sharing videos. But this is crazy. So you guys are able to see the video. It's the audios you can't hear because I hear everything on this end. Everything on this end is clear. Everything on this end is clear. So let me see. Right, Jesus fix it. Hold on, y'all. I just took everything down. But like I was saying, guys, this is absolutely a open panel. We just want to respect each other, respect the family, because it's definitely videos out here that I think we should hear, that's going to bring us up to speed on what's really going on. And I brought here on my channel a couple of videos, and we're going to hear from Carmelo parents, and then we're going to hear from Austin's father. And then we're just going to talk about it. I can definitely tell you guys the upbringing. These kids had absolutely two different brain. They was brought up in two different homes, and we know that, right? But I must say that from what I have learned and from what I have heard, Carmelo comes from a very humble family versus, Austin's. From me, I haven't heard his mother speak, but I have heard his father speak. And I'm absolutely going to play that video tonight. And I must say, those boys' father are definitely rough around the neck. Rough around the neck. And it just absolutely left me feeling, you know, I've been hearing a lot out here on the internet that Austin just walked up and just placed his hand on Carmelo's shoulder. Listen to the tone of his father. I don't think it was just a hand placement on the shoulder. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that. And like I said, I definitely stand against, cyberbullying, harassment. I feel, my opinion, both families are hurting right now. Okay, hold for one moment, y'all. Y'all hear it? Y'all hear it? Okay, y'all, this is awful. So, what we're sitting here looking at and what we're sitting here listening at is, of course, the guy that's reporting in front of the courthouse. He was in the courtroom and he was saying pretty much from um, the witness, they were saying that Karmelo just absolutely walked up under this tent. He was asked to leave. He refused to leave. And then there was a young man who said he's been running track from elementary school or middle school all the way up through college. And one thing you don't do is sit under another school's tent. That's a big no-no. And this video shows a lot of different examples of what self-defense looks like, what manslaughter looks like, and what first degree murder looks like. So absolutely this video was put together to make Karmelo looks like first degree. You know, he falls in the bracket of first degree. Okay, this audio that you guys can't hear, this absolutely commentary, this video absolutely saying that if it was self-defense, pretty much they're saying it was overkill. That if Austin only laid a hand on Karmelo, Karmelo was supposed to lay a hand on him, right? It's not like it's self-defense because it didn't match. It didn't match the actions of Austin. Because from what the witness says and what this reporter is reporting to us is that they're painting the picture that Austin just absolutely walked up and said, hey, man, you don't belong here, leave. You don't belong here, leave. And when Karmelo, refused to leave, then that's when Austin allegedly placed his hand on to Karmelo, which then that triggered him to grab his bag, put his hand in his bag. Supposedly, allegedly, he provoked. He pretty much told Austin, man, touch me and you'll see what happened. Man, touch me, you'll see what happened. Now, this is what the witnesses are saying. This is what I feel like the people who wants Austin to, wants Karmelo to look guilty, these are the words that they are saying Karmelo said. Provoking words such as put your hands on me and see what happened. And if you provoke someone, then that voice out stand your ground. That voice out self-defense. It's no longer self-defense if you're provoking a person to touch you. Can you guys hear me down there in the chat? It don't matter if I say don't touch me. That's what I mean. Well, in this case, what I'm learning, because I also thought that, hey, if I say don't touch me, that means don't touch me. I didn't give you permission to touch me, so you shouldn't touch me. But of course, they know how to twist the words to fit, to make this young man look guilty. They know how to twist his word. I'm sure that's part of what Karmelo said. Karmelo said, don't touch me. But they added the words, oh, touch me, and then you'll see. Touch me and see what happened. Touch me and see what happened. Because they want him to sound like he's provoking. He provoked Austin to touch him. So if you say, don't touch me, you can say, don't touch me. But they added more words. They added words as if he provoked. He provoked. Tamik, where you got that from? He started, I dare you to touch me. I dare you to touch me. You heard him say that on the audio, or did you hear that from the news channels? Did you hear that from the report? Because from what I was told, he's on recording saying, I told him not to touch me. That's the only audio that's out here with that I have heard with Carmelo's voice on, saying supposedly on the cops camera, body camera, saying, I told him not to touch me, not that I dared him to touch me. So where you got that from, sis? To me, where you got that from? He stated, I dare you to touch me. No, I was saying this is what this video are saying. No, the y'all couldn't hear the video. So what I'm saying is this is what reporters are putting out. They're saying allegedly Austin just placed his hand on the shoulder. I don't think it was no hand touch. I don't think it was no shoulder touch. I think it was pretty much, in my opinion, I think it was pretty much aggressive. I think he shoved this young man. I think he shoved this young man. I think he handled this young man in an aggressive way, in my opinion. But the reporter here on my screen, he's reporting that witness are saying that he just touched his shoulder and asked him to leave. I want you guys to listen and hear the video of Mr. Jeff, which is Austin's father, some of his lingo and what he think about us color people. So I don't think that he raised his boys to, gently, handle somebody. I think this is just my opinion, that Austin had to more like provoke, okay, Karmelo. That's what I'm saying. Now, I don't feel nobody deserve to die, right? I absolutely don't feel that. I'm not promoting that. I stand against, violence. But this is a case where, in my opinion, from me seeing and hearing the things that I see and hear, that it was a child that walked into a track meeting, right? I don't think no kid shows up at a track meeting with the attentions on harming another student or harming another kid, right? But from what we have seen this past week and a half, we have seen a bunch of grown-ups, okay? We have seen a bunch of grown-ups come out and try to intimidate or antagonize other grown people, right? Just watching here online, watching it go down in front of the courthouse, we have seen grown people misbehave. So is this kid always on his P's and Q's saying, hey, because of his family, the community, that his parents, and I'm going to tell y'all, I shed tears, real tears. I cried big tears because I know that his parents felt that he was in a safe place, right? Because of the community they lived in. They lived in a well-maintained community. Not too many people look like them in that community. The community is where there's very much high end homes in that community, families, successful people who have done good about themselves. So I'm sure, the first thing we think when we move in those type of community, that we are safe and our kids are safe, right? Because it's less crimes, right, being committed in these community, in these type of communities. Now, I'm sure when Carmelo Anthony family moved him into this community, they didn't think that, their child will be involved in such act or their child will be target. But let me tell you something. I'm going to absolutely tell you something. Now I'll bring my 31-year-old daughter on here and also my 17-year-old daughter. I have been that parent that have, resigned in those type of communities, right? I have raised brown skinned girls up in those type of communities, and my kids have told me, mama, it was not always easy growing up being the only brown skinned person on the cheerleader team, or being the only brown skinned person on the Girl Scout, or being the only brown skinned person in the school, right? Here I am, I go to work at a peace of mind thinking, hey, we're surrounded around good people. We're surrounded around people who have done good, but listening to my kids just told me that a couple years ago. My youngest is 17, my oldest is 31, but we was just having a talk, and they didn't tell me this, growing up as kids, that it wasn't always easy being the only brown spot. So who knows what Karmelo Anthony have went through, at some of these, track meetings, at the school, outside of the community. A lot of times kids don't come home and tell their parents, hey mom, I'm being bullied. Hey mom, I'm being picked on. Hey mom, we don't have crimes out in the community. So I understand you trying to keep me out of the communities where I may be misled to be a YN. But guess what? In this community, I'm not accepted. In this community, I really, every day, I have to wake up, and I have to see, hope I make it back home to y'all. Like, I'm not saying this was his case, but this could have been his case. Because I asked my kids, I said, well, why y'all ain't been telling me that? Why y'all ain't been telling me that? Why y'all just not telling me this? So to say that, it sounds like people trying to paint the picture and say, oh, he just showed up at school with this pocket knife, or he just showed up at this track meet and, with this weapon. We don't know what Karmelo Anthony was going through as a kid growing up in the community that his parents chose for him. I'm sure they chose that community thinking this would be a great place for us to raise our kids and protect our kids, because that's what I did. I wanted my kids to grow up in a community that I didn't grow up in because of things that I went through in that community that I didn't want my kids exposed to. But we're not stopping thinking that our kids may not be accepted. And I'm not saying that we can't live in those communities, because I always tell my kids, I'm never going to, change my way of living because someone don't accept me. I'm not moving out the community. If you don't want me here, you move out. That's always been my attitude. But I haven't, as an adult, I haven't had a problem. But my kids have told me, growing up in certain community, it wasn't always easy. So we don't know what Anthony Karmelo had to go through. Well, I don't think it was a race thing. Now, I'm not saying that. I just said we don't know what our kids have to go through. I know people are trying to develop and make this a race war. It's heading towards that way, but I don't think it started with race. I just think that, from what I understood, these twins been bullying people for a long time. They've been bullies. And it haven't been said that they bully only black people. It was said that they are bullies. The twin brothers are bullies. They are troublemakers. They had just skipped school allegedly and went fishing or did something. So they was expelled. Allegedly, it was said they just had got back off a suspension. They had just got off a suspension. So listen, the parents trusted, okay? The parents, you can tell the parents didn't teach their son to be racist, right? You can tell the parents didn't teach their son to be racist. The parents ain't racist. Look at the community that they chose to raise their family in. So we definitely know the Anthony's not racist. We definitely know Karmelo Anthony parents are not racist because they chose to put their kids in such community. And what broke my heart is, despite the fact that after the incident took place, they was doxing the family, right? These people was doxing the family, threatening the family. They had to move several times. Allegedly, this family had to move several times, right? Because their address was doxed. And they were sending threats that they was gonna unalive Karmelo. They was gonna unalive their son. So these people was moving, since the last 2 years that this been going on, yet they still trust, okay? They still trust the race that, wanted to unalive their son. They still trust them. They went and got a white attorney. They legal team was built off of Caucasian. So they wasn't bitter. One thing I can say, Anthony family didn't look at this as if this was a race war. They didn't believe it was a race war. They didn't believe the fact that this only happened to their child at this track meeting because of his skin color. They absolutely didn't believe that this happened because of their son's skin color. They just honestly wanted a fair trial. They know who they raised, right? They knew who their son, absolutely. They knew that their son was a good boy, that, he had to jumped in the pool, saved a life, he was a good student. He was a good son. He was a good brother. So they weren't looking at it like as if, oh no, I need to go find somebody to look like me so they can lie for my son or they can make my son look innocent. My heart breaks, okay, for Karmelo's parents, because I think they are the most humble parents out here on the internet. And I think all they wanted to do was live a good life and give their son a good life. However, I do think the justice system took advantage of their kindness, because they continue to be kind to the white community. They did not think it was a race war, and they absolutely trusted the community to be fair. They trust the community to be fair for their son. They didn't want to go out and bring in, now let me be correct, because I did hear an interview where they did state that they did have a couple consultation with some black attorneys, but however, I guess because of the county that the black attorney suggest or advise them, hey, you may want to take, a Caucasian man in there to fight for your son rights. I don't know if that black attorney that they met with, allegedly, I heard Karmelo's parents say that black attorney told them to go and get a Caucasian attorney to fight for their son. So I don't know if that attorney just feared that if they brought a black lawyer in the courtroom in Collin County that they wouldn't be fair. But if it's a white man, it's a possibility that they will be fair to their son. Give them a fair trial. I guess I assume that's what I took from it. Um I have a question. Yeah, it's crazy because I don't think skin should be. When it comes to the law, I don't think it should be based on the skin, whether the attorney is white or the attorney is black. I really think it should be based on innocent or guilty. I think the evidence should be seen, the witness should be heard out. I just believe everybody should have a fair trial. It doesn't matter of the skin color. I would think it's the right thing is to have a fair trial, and I don't think that's what Karmelo Anthony got, a fair trial. Now we got Eugenia Williams. She have well, we all know Eugenia that this wasn't a fair trial. So we know it wasn't first degree. We know first degree didn't happen. We know first degree you have to attend or premeditate to unalive a person in order to be charged with first degree. Like on this audio, I'm mad that it won't play. I don't know what's going on, but I'm mad this video will not play. But on this audio, the host, the person who's doing the commentary is saying, "Oh, he over, you know, killed um Austin based on Austin just placed a hand on his shoulder. He came out with a knife and he jugged him straight through the heart." Well, I must say, I feel that they overcharged him. They overcharged him. Even like if they was going to charge him with anything, if they doubted self defense, if they doubted this was self defense, I think maybe manslaughter. Okay, because manslaughter is like when it happens off of emotions. A fast act. You didn't attend to unalive someone. It just happened in the moment, the heat of the moment. That's more a manslaughter. But to say this child did first degree murder, this child, to me, my opinion, exactly what my title says. I feel like this child walked into a track meeting, and his life changed forever. I absolutely feel like this child, I feel like he walked in as a child and walked out as a suspect charged with first degree murder and 35 years sentence. I don't think this young boy showed up. And from what I was told, the tool he had, they cleaned the cleats. They use this to clean the cleats. But they keep describing this as a knife. And then in Texas, I was told it wasn't illegal to carry a knife. As long as it was the blade was a certain inch, you can absolutely carry that to school. Let me look that up. Let me look that up because I was told let me see y'all if that's true. That as long as in Texas, as long as the blade is a certain inch, that Texas state laws allow you to bring a knife to school. Let me see if that's true. I meant to be and look that up because I was like, what? When I heard that. Let me see if it's true or false. Okay. Texas does have a permissive knife laws. Okay. Compared with many states, but that doesn't mean students are generally allowed to bring knives to school. Okay, it says under the Texas law, bringing certain knives onto school property is prohibited, and many school districts have policy that prohibit any knife on campus, regardless of the size. Students can face school discipline even if the knife might not violate state criminal law. Let's see what part. No weapons on school property. And I would say that, but I was like I said, I heard that in Texas that some schools, so you can carry the knife, it's not against law. You just can't bring it on school property. Because I was told this tool, the boys use it, that he's not the only one carrying this tool, that the boys use it to clean their cleats. Yeah, and this was at a track meet, and I was told not told. I heard Charleston White said that tool, many schools students bring that tool to track meetings because they clean their cleats with it. And I'm just saying that, I'm not saying to make it legal or to not make it, to try to make it be okay to carry a weapon, but don't paint the picture of Carmelo Anthony like he was just this bad kid that brought a weapon to school, if that's a tool that they allow them to bring because the blade is, you know, within state guideline. That's all I was looking up to just absolutely see, because I keep hearing people saying, oh, he showed up with a weapon, he would intend to do this, he intend to kill him, he premeditated. But this is the thing, they said Austin and Carmelo didn't even know each other. This was their first time meeting each other. So how could he have premeditated, or how could he have attend, plotted to unalive somebody? Like, they act as if, oh, you don't show up at a track meeting with a knife. So did he show up with that tool? They say it's a Boy Scout tool. Did he show up with that tool because they use it to clean their cleats? Rosie, that's the exact same thing I was gonna say. Because when I watch this video, and it won't play, and it probably won't play because it probably will have pissed a lot of people off in the chat. That's why I came on here and gave my rules and disclaimer before I started the video, because it probably will have pissed a lot of people off, right? So Rosie says, Why is many people outraged that he brought the knife than they are? Because if he wanted him out, why not get the proper people to remove him? Please don't touch me. And that's what I said. If the picture that they are painting, that, oh, Austin was just being a stand-up student, he was up under the school tent. He didn't go to that school. He shouldn't been there. And Austin was just, telling him to leave. Well, if Austin was a stand-up student, right? He mean no harm. He wasn't aggressive. He just touched Karmelo's shoulder. Well, why didn't he de-escalate? Why he didn't de-escalate by once Karmelo told him, you can't get me out this tent or I'm not going. He refused to obey another student's command. Why that student didn't go get a staff? Why didn't he go get a coach? Why didn't he go get a parent? Why didn't he go get someone else to get Karmelo from up under the tent? If he was this great kid that didn't mean no harm when he allegedly touched Anthony on the shoulder. Why Austin couldn't run and get a parent, a coach, or a faculty staff, before putting his hands on Karmelo? I really do think that he didn't just touch his shoulder. I think he did exactly what Karmelo said. He shoved him. They was planning to jump him. You got two big brothers. From what Karmelo's father said, that Austin was bigger than him. He said those brothers are bigger than him. That's what the father of Karmelo said. So you got these two great big giants standing over you. One touch you in an aggressive way. Because I don't think, me personally, just listening to the parents, Karmelo was someone who liked to cook. He enjoyed cooking, whether he was cooking inside or outside. I cried with his mother because she said, she broke down, said he had the best hibachi. He cooked the best, okay? And her and her husband was just going over talking about some of the good about their son, which didn't get played in the courts. They never highlighted his good, okay? They never highlighted his good. They act as if in the courts, from what I understand from listening to the parents, they act like Karmelo's life started that day. Like that was the beginning and the end of his life at that track meeting. They didn't bring up nothing else about their son. They didn't highlight his GPA. They didn't highlight the fact that he had 2 jobs. They didn't highlight the fact in the court that he jumped in the pool. He was willing to risk his life to save another life. Like they didn't bring the spotlight out on Karmelo. They didn't speak of the good. So the parents, they was just saying, describing their son, and from their description, it just don't sound like, to me, my opinion, that an individual touching him, just putting their hand on his shoulder, will have led him to, take, extra force. To take extra force. And I don't think it was deadly force. I don't think he intended for it to be deadly force. But I do feel like he was there standing up for himself. He wasn't going to be bullied. I feel like the force that he had, I feel like it was just to get them up off of him. I don't think it was supposed to be deadly force. I don't think he intended to unalive the young man. Because one, He showed remorse. He wanted to know if he was okay. He ran to the coach. He didn't run out the field. He didn't run off the field into his car and zoomed off. He ran downstairs, down the bleachers to another staff. I'm going to drop the link for y'all who may have questions or may want to add on here. I think that, like I said, I don't think this was about a race war. I don't think the parents thought anything about race. I think they just thought, hey, it was just a day at a track meet, and things went, to the left, and that their son was defending themselves. And I think that's why they trust the attorney, their legal team. But as for me, I don't think that legal team had favor over Karmelo and his family. And I said that when the verdict came back. But after listening to the father's interview, the father himself said, y'all, the link down there in the chat, if anybody want to grab it and add on to this story and give me your honest opinion on what you think, when it comes to the Karmelo Anthony story case. What do you think? How you feel about it? And what you think about moving on to the appeal? Do y'all believe he's gonna get an appeal? I do. And like I said earlier today, that's where our focus should be. That's where our focus should be, because that's the only way we can undo what's been done. But earlier today, listening to the father talk, the father said him and Karmelo was given, and the family was given instructions, y'all. The family was given instructions to not say certain things. It was certain things they was not allowed to say. Pretty much, the legal team put this family on mute, y'all. So a lot of stuff was not able to be put out here on the media. A lot of stuff was, the family was even told, don't talk to this person. Don't talk to this person. Don't interview. Don't say this. Don't say that. So Karmelo's Anthony family been sitting on mute. Even when they saw things wasn't right. When they saw things wasn't right, they was cooperating with those people there in that county. They was cooperating with them because they trust those people. They trust those people was going to give their son a fair trial. So even when they saw that it was a jury of nothing but whites and Hispanics and Asian guy or whatever, they sat quiet. They say they knew it was wrong. Can you believe that? Karmelo Anthony's parents said they knew it was absolutely wrong when they saw that should have been gone to the Supreme Court. Okay, it should have been stopped right there. The brake should have been pushed right at the jury selection. That should have been gone to the Supreme Court right there. But they sat quiet because they was given instructions to be quiet. Don't say nothing. Even if it don't look right, don't say nothing. Isn't that sad, y'all? That broke my heart. That broke my heart. We're talking about a family. We're talking about parents who had never, ever, ever been in trouble with the law before. They never been in trouble with the law before, so they really don't know how it works. Yeah, and the father knew it wasn't right. The mother knew it wasn't right. But guess what? They was instructed at the very, very beginning to not say nothing. Zip your mouth. Just sit back and watch. Pretty much the legal team told them, okay? The legal team told them, pretty much brown skinned people are judged off of overreacting in their emotions. So don't say nothing. Just sit quiet. I got this. Even if y'all see something wrong, if it don't look right, just don't say anything. And I mean, this family had so much of trust and hope into this legal team. When they saw in the courtroom, things was not looking good. It was no objects. It was no, calling people out when they lie. It was none of that. And the parents just sat down and watched. Hi, who I have? Welcome to the Internet Sister JK channel.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Okay, who I have here?
My name is CT.
Hi, CT. What do you have to add on to this story, CT?
To the Karmelo Anthony case, to the entire case.
Yes, give us some feedback.
I was in support of Karmelo. As much as I should not have been, I should have remained neutral. I was in support of him. I truly believed it was a self-defense case. I truly believe that the particulars of the case, the rain that was mentioned in the police report, the lack of footage for the public for some reason. I truly believe that, that this boy may have been surrounded. I truly believe that maybe this could have been a self-defense case. But the jury spoke. The trial, for some reason, I don't know anything about. I've never been to Texas, and I don't know about their local municipalities, but it does appear that this was a real speedy trial, because it was a trial, sentencing, and trial, verdict, sentencing that all happened in the same day. But I do believe that justice was served, and we should respect the court's decision. And he will appeal, or he has appealed, and hopefully the appeal goes through. Maybe there should have been a black juror. Uh, maybe the prosecution made a mistake during the voir dire process, and that's grounds for appeal. But other than that, I respect the courts. I respect the court's decision. America is the greatest country on the planet, and this case, wasn't a case about race. It wasn't a case about bigotry or white supremacy. It was a case about two stupid kids, or groups of stupid kids doing something very stupid.
And I have to agree with you on that. I don't think it was a case about a race. Do I think grown-ups, adults turned it into that? Yes. Because I did too have someone that was out on the campus of the court during the time the trial was going on, and they said that it was definitely bound to go down any moment. That there was a lot of masks out there. You couldn't really tell a person race unless you look down at their hands. And that's the way you was able to see in their skin colors. So I do think it became that. Now, I absolutely agree. We should respect the court's decision. However, I don't feel that he had a fair trial.
Okay.
I don't feel he had a fair trial. I was hoping, and so was his parents. I don't know if you heard before you came up on the panel that the parents did everything they was told to do. They absolutely wanted to follow instructions. And so they did absolutely everything they was told to do, all the way up to the verdict. And that was to keep their mouth quiet, even if they see something wrong in the trial of the case, not to say anything. So I think they trust in the legal team they had. They trust that legal team. They trust and respected the courts. But however, they witnessed, they got to see with their own eyes. It wasn't a fair trial, but they obeyed the legal team by keeping their mouth quiet. So the mom and father, honestly, I think this is my opinion. I don't know him personally, but what I got from this family, that if they felt deep in their heart that their son was guilty, I think they will
Yeah.
accept the verdict. That's what I got from the family. The family seems to be humble and just that type, because as we all witness, most of the time when there's a crime committed, it's so many black advocates that's out protesting, marching, and just going crazy. But this family didn't have that. This family didn't have that. They was just so chill, so quiet. We didn't hear from this family.
No, we didn't. No.
Yeah, so they was chill. So I think they trusted the courts, and I think the courts failed them. Now, did Austin deserve to die? No, I don't think no child. Like you said, was a bunch of, kids out there that made wrong decisions on
Yeah.
that day, right? They made bad decisions on that day. Do did he deserve to lose his life? No, I don't even feel like Carmela feels like he deserved to have lost his life, because I don't think Carmela was trying to take Austin's life. You
Right.
know, it happens. So, and I understand that it's pain on both sides. Both family hurts right now. I just don't feel Carmela had a fair trial, because in the state of Texas, it's stand your ground law, right? Isn't that correct? It's a
It
stand
is to
your
stand
ground
your
law.
ground. Yeah.
Right. So do you not think someone's coming up? I mean, if he was in the wrong place, he was under the tent. Did he deserve to be shoved, fought on because he was under a school tent that he didn't attend the school? Do you think he deserved to have been hit up? Them to punch on, push him around? Was that
No.
okay?
No. They
That
should have
wasn't
got They should have got staff to remove him from the tent, which the tent didn't belong to them anyway. But they probably should have got a staff member.
right. And that's what I agree. And that's why I say the problem came in, because at his age too, we got to think he's 17. He really don't know much about the law, but I'm sure he have
No.
heard you can protect yourself in Texas. I'm sure he have heard that, right? You can stand up and you can protect yourself in Texas. At 17, he really don't know much about the law, but I'm sure he heard that law. So I think he was defending himself, and it just went a little too far. A life was claimed on that day. A life was lost.
I would agree. I would agree. So
Yeah.
where do we go from here?
Well, as for me, I had to kind of like start looking at, facts over feelings, because I
Yeah.
am a mother, right? So, I bawled, I cry. In my spirit, I feel he's going to be okay. And I honestly advise everyone to now, let's just look forward. We can't look behind us anymore, right? Like you said, you feel justice have been served, you feel the courts have spoke, we should respect the courts
Yeah.
decision. But for the ones who don't feel he had a fair trial, my advice is, let's keep looking forward, let's get an appeal, and let's just hope that the parents are able to afford the right legal team to bring a Carmelo home, free Karmelo Anthony. That's what I personally would like to see.
Yeah. It's something that kids can learn from. I definitely believe that. Um, Definitely believe that. As a kid, I don't have any kids, but you got to learn to de-escalate. You got to learn to get the proper authorities, obviously, and you should learn to never ever react in a violent manner. Uh, I don't know, man. This case is a very interesting case. Hopefully, he gets paroled in 17 years, and lives a regular life. But he's going to be institutionalized, and it's going to be a hard transition into regular society.
So, okay, I have a couple questions for you.
Yo.
So, me personally, I feel like it had to go down the way it went down, because I honestly felt like if Carmelo would have walked out that courtroom found not guilty, I feel like it would have been another day like it was for Charlie Kirk. I really felt in my spirit that someone was set up somewhere out there, to take him out. So um, I mean, what you think? You how if things was different and he was found not guilty, how do you feel that that day would have went forward?
If he was found not guilty,
Yeah,
how?
how would huh?
No, I'm sorry. You were asking me what now?
Yeah, how do you think the other race will have react to it?
They would have went about their day.
You think
I
so?
don't think that white people act collectively the way that blacks do. I've noticed that whites don't really have a victim mentality, and I'm not saying all blacks do, but it seems like black people have like a victim mentality. So they correlate anything dealing with a black and a white as something that is immediate to them, when in fact it's really not. Like, I have nothing in common with Carmelo, just as much as a white man has nothing in common with Jeffrey Dahmer, other than the fact that we share the same skin tone.
Correct.
So I don't I don't think whites would have done anything. Whites are more scale, they're more at scale, right? In my opinion, they're more likely to riot over, they're more likely to riot over something more political, like what J6, like J6 or something, right? They want to, they not riot, because I don't consider J6 a riot, but they're more likely to challenge the presidency of someone. That's what they care about, so it's a little bit different in amongst whites, the way that I see it. So no, they wouldn't have reacted. There wouldn't have been any protest. Whites don't really protest, to be honest with you.
Well, no, they don't have to protest. And, I have to agree with you to disagree, um, because of the fact being they don't have to play victim, because, they get, let me say this, and I'm going to say it with respect, because, like you said,
Yeah.
I honestly didn't have no connect with Carmela Anthony as well, other than the same skin tone, and I'm a fair person. However, but we have seen time from time where even when they shouldn't get victory or win, or they do, right? It's like they send a message to me, and this is my opinion. At the end of that trial, the verdict was guilty. To me, they sent the message to black kids, okay, the black race. The law don't apply to you. You can't stand your own ground. You can't have self-defense. I seen a black woman out yelling and screaming. Matter of fact, I can't play the audio, but she's yelling to the top of her lungs. The audio would not play. But this woman is saying, what do I tell my five boys? She's saying, what do I tell my five boys now that I watched a young brown skinned man stand up for himself and get found guilty for self-defense? So what do I tell my five boys now? If you run, we just watched a 14-year-old that was running from a convenience store because he was falsely accused of taking four water bottles, and he had nothing in his backpack. And he tried to defuse, he tried to de-escalate. He didn't stay there to fight with the store clerks or the store owner. He absolutely grabbed his book bag. After he opened his book bag, clearly showed that there was no water bottles in his book bag, and he took off running, and he was ran down 190 yards to be shot in the back, where this family was found not guilty because they said it was self-defense. They said this 14-year-old was a threat to a son who could have stayed back at the store and called 911, but he decided to join force with his father with a firearm and chase this young 14-year-old black boy down and gun him in his back, and you gonna say we play victim? No, it's a lot of us are victim. I may not be a victim, you may not be a victim, we may not have had these type of problems. I don't know how long you've been down there in my chat, but I said I raised two brown skinned beautiful daughters up in a community with most of Caucasian people, and they just shared with me a couple years ago. It was Sometimes it was real hard on them being the only brown skin on the sports team. So we may not have been victims, but there's a lot of brown skinned people out here have been victims. For example, that 14-year-old that was shot in his back. So not everybody play that role as a victim. There is a lot of victims out here. Wouldn't you agree?
Um, Not really in terms of the way that you're saying it. No, I wouldn't agree.
That is a lot of victims, is a lot of brown skinned people that been
I just
violated, their rights been violated.
no, I don't agree with that at all. In fact, I worked in the courts. I was a probation officer many years ago. I
Mhm.
worked for Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court, adult probation, and some of my worst probationers were blacks. Um, and I would have argued that the judge probably should have sentenced them to the penitentiary instead of giving them probation, because they constantly would violate probation. They would commit new crimes, or if they didn't commit new crimes, they wouldn't come in on report day. They would test positive for hard drugs on report day. They wouldn't do what the judge required them to do to satisfy the terms and condition of their probation. And I would argue that many judges give a lot of leniency to a lot of blacks. I mean, we literally have seen the Soros prosecutors and judges in all these blue cities. We've seen the no bail. People going in and coming. The judges basically tell them to go right back out. Come in whenever you can. No, I totally don't agree with that. When I was a kid, I never got the talk from my mother or father. I never got the talk about police, because I just feel like people who give the talk to their kids are like about police, right? You know that your kid is headed down in life to be a criminal. And I was talking to some guys like that earlier today. I had a guy tell me, well, his mom gave him the talk. Then I asked him further up questions, and come to find out he came from a family where his cousins and uncles were in Rikers Island. I said, "Oh, well, your mom, she gave you to talk because your family ain't nothing but, a lot of the men in your family are goddamn criminals. So maybe they saw something in your uncles or something when they were 10 or 11 or 12." So each situation is different. America is the greatest country on the planet. We have the greatest rights in America. When we talk about rights, there are countries where, for example, women, shit, you can forget about it. Like, I mean, women in America have far more rights than women in Afghanistan, than Saudi Arabia. I mean, hell, it was just 5 years ago, women in Saudi Arabia weren't even allowed to drive vehicles without the accompanying of a man accompanying the woman. So, America is a very interesting place. It's a place where you really make America what you want it to be. And even the fact that you just said that you lived in a white community, how bad are whites, how bad are your rights where you want to live around these people? So the fact is that um I look at each case differently. That's because I've been trained to do that as a person who worked in law, the courts. But each case is different. I mean, I could argue that there are plenty of cases where blacks got off for committing crimes against whites or other races of people. I can name famous cases like the OJ case. I can name cases of lynching, like the case with the Ukrainian girl and the black guy said, "I got that white B." Or I can name cases of other lynchings with whites. In 1992 or 93, Colin Ferguson went on a New York subway with the purposes and intent of gunning down whites, and purposely shot whites and looked over and didn't kill any blacks. So whites have been lynched in America. If you really sit back and think about it, I mean,
And
So,
that was wrong. That was wrong.
it was absolutely wrong. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I wouldn't say it was right, and I absolutely don't feel like this is about race. I don't feel like this is
Yeah.
about race by me saying that. I feel like every case is different. Every case is different. I absolutely live in a community with Caucasian
Yeah.
people, and I feel like in every race. See, as for me, I look at it as a human race. I don't look at
Yeah.
skin color. And I feel like every race have its good and every race have its bad. So speaking on this young man who I feel was railroad, I feel that
Yeah.
he did not have a fair trial.
Yeah.
That don't mean that I'm looking at all white people or just making him be a victim. Okay, just from the evidence that was brought out here at the very beginning. Now, evidence was tampered with, and things that was spoke on about the very beginning, like Austin brother, he came out here and made a statement. Why wasn't that played in court? Right, because it clearly will have put Austin and his brother, okay, as the bad people, right? The bad ones. But they didn't bring that up in court. So I just feel like a lot of evidence wasn't brought to court. It wasn't a fair trial for the kid, right? It's not a white black thing. Once again, I feel like grown-ups, adults are, trying to make this become a race war. But that's not what I want to see. I just want to see
Yeah.
appeal, and I want to see what's right. I want him to have a fair trial. I don't think the trial should have been held in Collin County, But once again, the parents, they was willing to work with that county. They absolutely are not racist people, and they absolutely trust the courts to give their son a fair trial, and that's not what we got here. Now, really quick, I want to kind of back up because I heard
Yo.
you say you was a probation officer,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
talked about how blacks get out and don't follow instructions, and they get back out and commit the same crime or new crimes. What was the rehabilitation? What did you guys give them to better themselves when they came home from prison? Did you guys help them with housing? Did you help them with jobs? Did the government give them things to prevent them from coming back out committing the same crime? Or did you guys just bring them home? I mean, did they come home with college degrees? Do they educate them in prison? Do they give them trades so when they come home, they can adapt back to society? They can have something to work with so they don't have to backpedal and go back to committing crimes.
Yeah. So the courts, what they do is the courts will, not just the courts, but the entire judicial system works with inpatient, outpatient facilities. They work with, all types of uh, job programs. They work with all types of trade programs. And as a probation officer, you recommend a lot of this to your client or to your probationer. Many probationers, they ended up doing, obviously blue collar trade work. But these are the guys who are the go getters, right? These are the guys that, you know, they they're men, right? That's what a man does. A man doesn't worry about having a felony on his record. He doesn't worry about having some college degree. That means absolutely nothing. Most college degrees, 99% of college degrees are bullshit. But men work, right? There were a lot of great guys that I had through probationers who said, "Hey man, I just went around to local businesses and to the storefronts and said, hey, can I clean?" Like, I had one guy who went into a Subway, and the Subway was disgusting. The bathroom was disgusting, and it was. And he asked the manager, "Hey, can I just clean this up for like $10?" And he cleaned it up for $10 and went on his way. He did it over and over and over. He may have done it like 5 or 6 times a day. So America is a beautiful country when it comes to opportunity. When you live in like more urban areas. So there were many programs. There were again, there's a restaurant in Cleveland, Ohio. It's called Edwin's. You should look it up. It's called Edwin's Restaurant. EDWIN apostrophe S, Edwin's Restaurant. And what they do is they work with the courts The guy who owns it, he's a former felon. He's a white guy actually, and he hires ex-cons to, he first of all he puts them in a rigorous cooking program, like to become like a cook.
Hmm.
And um, this restaurant is an upscale restaurant, so he has felons who are the waiters, waitresses, chefs, and they're in there. It's a very successful restaurant. I think they opened up 2 locations. So these things are here. They're here, and let's not forget about welfare and other programs for people right now. Food banks. Hell, I was out walking the other day, and it was a food bank near me, and I saw all types of people in there. Hell, I wanted to go in there and get some free food. So America is a country full of abundance. You're never going to starve in America. You could always find a way to make $1 in America if you are a man. And I uh I just see it totally, I just look at it totally different.
Well, it's not always fair for the
Sure.
blacks. It's not always fair. I'm not saying America is not a great country, right? And like I said, you haven't been affected. I haven't. We done good about ourselves, right? Being brown skinned, right? Not having problems with, being mistreated or going to courts, getting ourselves in front of the judge and not having fair trial. So we really don't know what it's kind of hard for me to say everybody have that victim mentality.
What
Now,
many
I
people
don't
what
like
many
the
people don't
race
even go.
card. I don't like people to play the race card.
Yeah.
I'm real big on that. And I get into it with my family sometime because I'm like, wait a minute. If you don't want to be picked on, then you do what's right, right? If you're doing what's right, then you don't have to worry about being picked on. But when you're doing something wrong or you're breaking the law, you can't say, oh, they just picking on me because I'm black. Like, I don't go for that. I don't like that, right? Do what's right, then you don't have to feel like being picked on. But if you're doing what's right and then they're picking on you, then okay, you can kind of like, I wouldn't say they got the victim mentality. They're the victim. If someone's picking on you and you're doing everything right, you are a victim.
I'm listening to you.
Oh, I must went out. But yeah, I say I don't believe in the race card. I have to, redirect some of my family members when they try to use it, and there's no need for it. But I do feel like there's a lot of, people that look like you and I that do sometime, well, not do sometime, but sometimes they are the victim. It's not that they have a victim mentality, is that they're being mistreated because of their skin color. It happens, maybe not all the time. Like I said, you haven't experienced it. I haven't experienced it, but I'm sure others have. I have heard stories.
I'm listening to you.
No, I'm just telling you. And I mean,
Mhm.
I'll just let you know I'm a brown skinned woman who's really into Caucasian guys. That's my preference. That's my preference. Yeah. That's my preference. So if I see someone that look like me being mistreated, I'm gonna speak up. That don't mean that I just have a problem with all white people, because it's not all white people, just like it's not all black.
I'm listening to you.
No, I said what I had to say. What you have to say
No,
back?
I mean,
Because I'm reading
you
some
know,
of the
I,
comments down here, and they think you kind of being a little hard on the race.
what am I being hard about?
One, to say that, we have adopted the mindset of being victims.
What was I mean, I don't see. I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, I can't. I mean, the person's not here to even talk their point. So I mean, I just believe that black people are not victims. I don't believe black people are victims. I believe that that black people use victimhood when they're losing in life, when they feel like a loser. You know, when you fail to compete, you know, then you pretend to be a victim. You know,
That's some, not all blacks,
well,
right?
some, some, obviously, right. I would
Yeah.
say a large majority of people who blame their plight on white supremacy is they are definitely individuals that they just don't want to win. They don't want to compete.
So do you believe it's white supremacists in the world? Or
Do I believe that there's white supremacy? No,
no?
no,
Okay.
no,
It didn't sound like it. That's why
no,
I asked you
no.
that.
I believe that the Western Hemisphere is the greatest civilization on the planet. Western civilization is the greatest, and if it happens to be monitored and controlled and ran by whites, so be it. It's the greatest. It's the greatest civilization ever, and I would prefer to live here than any other place on the planet. So how bad can it really be here? You know, I mean the enormous amount of wealth, the enormous amount of civil liberties, rights, the enormous amount of upward trajectory. It's amazing in this country.
So
And
I,
in many I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. I'm sorry. You go finish.
Oh no, and I was just saying, that's just, again, it's just my opinion, it's just the way I see it.
Okay. So I have a question here for you.
Yes,
Someone
yes.
says, well, was Carmelo supposed to just get beaten to death? Ask him, how do one protect themselves?
Well, I guess the argument could be that the jury didn't deem it necessary. The jury didn't give him a self defense out, right? So they deemed whatever they saw, and they determined that he was not going to be beat to death. And let's be honest about it, most people don't believe he was going to be beat to death. Teenage boys don't beat each other to death. It's not a normal thing. I mean, boys fight, teenage boys fight, but the likelihood of him being beat to death in a stadium full of hundreds of people and coaches, it seems very unlikely. And that, I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't use that argument probably in court, because that could be eaten alive, that argument, so he wasn't going to get beaten to death. Now, could have Carmelo thought, if I fall back and hit my head, could I die? He may have thought that in an altercation, but to beat to death, I don't think those boys had any motive to beat him to D word. It doesn't make any sense. I ask him, how do one protect themselves? Well, again, you protect yourselves by making smart decisions. If the boys told you to get out the tent the first time, maybe you should have just got up and just walked out. I mean, I know it was raining. There isn't really any such thing as property rights with a goddamn canopy, but maybe you should have just got up and walked out. If somebody told me I wasn't welcome somewhere, I'm gonna leave, and I think maybe that's one of Carmelo's, or it was one of Carmelo's problems, to be honest with you. And I supported Carmelo, believe it or not.
So,
Yes.
you just put hundreds of people, Carmelo's life in 100 of people hand, because you say it was no way he can be beat to death with hundreds of people in a stadium. So, being that there was a hundreds of people, why wasn't this de-escalated, diffused
Uh,
before Carmelo
yeah,
had to use his knife? Why couldn't those hundreds of people, act before Austin's life was taken?
yeah. To be honest with you, that's a good question, and we don't know. We don't know, and obviously with 17-year-old boys, you're talking about low impulse control. You're talking about irrational thoughts, irrational behavior. Uh, the people around, I have no idea. You know, this is a very, very, very tricky case here, and hopefully the appeals process will call out some of these things. But it does appear that the jury saw something that obviously we didn't see because it's not public, and
And why
maybe
wasn't it public?
I think it wasn't public because I think that they wanted to prevent a racial situation with many black people, and with the media,
You
yeah, with
joking,
the
right? I'm waiting on you to tell me, you a comedian. You're a
no,
stand-up
I'm not a
comedian.
comedian at all. No,
You joking, right? You
no.
joking.
There's
Why
many.
wasn't it public again?
there's many reasons why it couldn't have been public, right? Maybe
Okay.
they didn't want to create a media frenzy behind this trial. And obviously these boys were juveniles when the incident took place. I have no idea why the judge decided what's his name, Judge Roach. I have no idea why he decided to make it not public or no media involved. You know, maybe that'll come out, but I really believe they didn't want to cause a media frenzy, a media circus with this.
So what's going on now? Is this not a circus out here?
No, because it's not seen, right? It's not seen, and because it's not seen, you're not really emotionally invested. Now, if it was on camera, if it was on court TV, now you're talking about 50, 60, 70 million people becoming emotionally invested because you can see the trial. If you can't really see the trial, then yeah, you're not
No,
really going to get a lot of people that are going to think about it a
I'm
week
not going
from
to
now.
give them that
Yeah.
credit. You
Well, I
don't
agree.
see it. You don't see it because of back to Carmilla's parents. Remember, I told you we didn't see
Yeah.
them out here marching with black advocates, carrying on, and just, oh, help me, my, this is racist, and they lied and they locked my son up. No, it's the
Yeah.
family. We got to give the family the credit, okay? They kept calm through it all, and they followed instructions from that legal team that told
Sure.
them, be quiet, don't show emotions, don't say nothing even if you see something wrong. So I would not give that to the courts. I'm going to give that credit to the parents of Karmelo Anthony, and they absolutely raised, just as well as I watch how his parents have self-control and how they carry their self and conduct themselves. I'm going to believe they
Yeah.
raised their son to do the same. They
Okay.
raised their son to do the same. I'm gonna believe that, like you said, Carmilla could have just got up and left from under the tent and walked in the rain because these two tall brothers, twin brothers, have that power and have that authority to throw him from under the tent out in the rain. Yes, he could have done that. And is it safe to say that the brothers could have went and found faculty staffs, or went to their parents, went to a grown up to have Carmilla move, even called the cops? Wouldn't that be safe to say they should have got in, adults involved? Would that be safe to say?
I'm sorry. Yeah, they could have done the same thing. They could have done the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. Well, I mean, also I had someone said, hold on, Teakers, I think I pinned your question up there. She wanted to know, did you know it was racism going on the outside of the courtroom in Texas during this trial?
Yeah, possibly so. On both sides, probably. It's probably on the back, black and white side.
Okay. Hold on, I'm just trying to see if they had more questions for you down here. Um, so how this, I read a comment down here. I can't find it anymore. Um, your way of thinking, right? I got to hear it. I'm a type of person, I don't mind about agreeing to disagree. And I definitely believe in independent thinking, and I like real conversations, right? So
Oh
I
yeah.
like to hear honest opinions. But a lot of time I know, just from some of my experience with some of the things you are saying, do you get a lot of backlash on the way you think and the way you talk when it comes to the race of black people?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, you do. How about within your family?
Not really. No.
No, no. So this probably was part of your upbringing.
No, I wouldn't say that either. My parents, no, we didn't really talk about race growing up, to be honest with you. We more or less talked about science, mathematics. We more or less talked about idea. My mom not was, she's, my mom was a Baptist. My dad is he studied with the Jehovah's Witnesses, but more out the box thinking. So we didn't really have these kind of conversations growing up, to be honest with you.
Okay.
No, yeah,
Which is safe to
yeah,
say that can be a healthy thing.
it is. It
It can
is.
be a really healthy thing because you don't want to leave bitterness in your kids' mind or mouth. You want them to feel that they are great and they can do and be whatever they want to be without, being timid. Um, so mom and dad seemed like they was believers. So believers tend to think and move a little different.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
We like, okay, we're gonna put it in God's hand. Oh, somebody
Maybe.
wants to know where did you grow up at? It goes, where did he grow
I
up
grew up in
at?
Northeast Ohio. I grew up in
Um,
Northeast Ohio.
Northeast Ohio.
Yeah.
What you mean? I dropped the link. What you mean to me? You said really? What you mean by really?
Yeah, I grew up in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah. So have you had bad experience with black on black?
Yeah, I've had bad experiences with blacks. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
Yep. It sounds like it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just more of just it's a civilizational thing, bad customer service, um, thieving, lying. It's like low trust. It's like we have a low trust society, and I've been around many blacks where they just outright just created false stories about you, and populations of other blacks will just believe it. So I when I hear about blacks, white supremacy, I say the only people who are victimizing blacks is other blacks, um, that I've seen, right? And I don't. Give me 1 second. Give me one
Go
second.
ahead.
Hey, give me 1 second.
If I had to guess, I'm gonna say he from Haiti. If I had to guess, y'all, he put me on hold, so I'm about to ask him. I'm gonna say he's absolutely from Haiti. If I didn't, let me see. He said his mom was Baptist and his dad was Did he say Jehovah Witness? I don't know. I'm gonna ask when he comes back. Yeah, he has me
All
on hold right now.
right, go ahead. Go ahead. I was
Hey,
on the phone. Go ahead.
I apologize, but real quick, are you from Haiti?
No, I'm an American.
Oh, African American. I was wrong.
I'm an American. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm just
okay,
an American. Yep.
okay. So you was telling me before you put me on hold that you have had bad experience with black on black.
Yeah, I mean, we have a very horrible culture. To be completely honest with you, that I've seen, that I've experienced, and the chaos, the destruction,
So wait,
the way
wait.
we run
Let's
institute.
pipe down, brother. Let's pipe.
Oh, okay, go
You
ahead.
said America is a great place to live.
Oh,
America,
absolutely. Oh,
but
it's
then you said
beautiful.
we have a awful culture, black people.
But black
No,
people are not America. Black people are a part
no,
of America.
but I'm just trying to show you where you're giving credit to and how you're discredit your own culture. Is
Well,
that
give
I'm
me. Well,
just
give me. Well, just ask me a question that I would just let's do
you just
specifics.
said America. You just got on here and you said America is a great country.
It is. It's a great
Yeah,
country. Yeah.
like, it's a great country. So okay, but then you turn around and you say that your culture, which you say you are African
I
American.
say I said I was American. I never said I was
Oh, well,
African.
you was America.
Yep.
I'm sorry. You never say you was African. You just said
I'm just an American. I'm just an
you just
American.
American. Mm.
Yep.
So when a racist white person see you, you don't think they put you in that boat?
I
Have
don't
you
care about
ever?
a I don't care about a racist white person. a racist white person means absolutely nothing to
So
me.
so you don't think they see you as
I
a black
don't,
person?
I don't care how a racist white
They
person
just see
sees
you
me,
as an American? You believe you're seen
ma'am,
just as an American
ma'am. I don't
person?
know. I can't tell you what they think because I don't read minds. But what
Okay.
I'm telling you is a racist white person doesn't hold any power. You
Okay.
know, power is in the elites, the bourgeoisie. The average white person, the average white person in America is a proletariat, or the masses of whites are proletariats. They are the lower class. They're not really seen as white. They're only white in title and name. So if there are racist whites, they don't really have any power over the Supreme Court. They don't have any power over, like, let's say, steel companies. They don't have any power over automotive industries, the very same industries and companies that both black and white men make money off of. So it, to me, it doesn't matter what a racist white thinks. I mean, you're still,
Or was you
you're not
taught to
even,
was you taught to dislike blacks, to not trust blacks? Was you taught that?
I don't trust, I don't trust a lot of blacks in institutions because blacks don't run institutions good or businesses good. Like, this is just something that I've observed with patterns. You know, this is just something that I've observed. It's not that nobody taught me. It's that I know that if I try to support black, I know that you're not gonna be here on time. I know that you're not gonna have everything on the menu. I know that you're not gonna run it. I know that when I come into the establishment, I'm not gonna get a perky smile from you. So these are the things that I just expect amongst blacks when it comes to running things. Nobody taught me this. I just see it with my own eyes. You know, I just see it.
But we just said not all blacks. So you're not
Of course, not all blacks, but I'm just telling
right.
you the
So
pattern that I've recognized with the blacks that I've dealt with. I didn't say all blacks. I've never met all 50 million black people,
yeah, but so
but
for you to say you know you're gonna show up at the restaurant, you're not gonna have everything on the
mhm,
menu, you're
yeah,
not gonna show
the
up
pattern.
in time. It's like you're putting us all in the basket though.
I'm not. I'm just telling
'Cause
you
you're
what
saying you're prepared to already know a person's not going to show up at time. They're not going to
yeah.
produce. They're not going to have these items on the menu.
It's just a pattern that I've recognized in my own life. I'm not saying all. I'm just saying what I've experienced in my own life.
So where your ancestors come from? Because you said you're
My
not.
mom is from my mom. My mother's from Atmore, Alabama. My dad is from Tennessee.
Where their ancestors? Because you say you're
They
not
come from South
African
Carolina.
American.
My
You're just
mom's family
American.
my mom's family comes from South Carolina, like, going to the 1600s. They moved to Alabama. My dad's family, I don't know where exactly they come from prior to Tennessee, but I know he's from Tennessee.
Okay, Eugene,
Yeah.
I dropped the link. I dropped the link, Eugenia. You want me to drop it again? Okay, so you wasn't taught. You wasn't taught to
I don't.
dislike blacks. This is just something that from your
I wouldn't say I dislike blacks. I'm married to a black woman. I try my best to give my dollar to a black before I give it to a white or Arab or an Asian. I try my best to really participate in what's my guy's name? I forgot his damn name, but like sort of like a power economics amongst blacks. Like I'm more inclined to try to deal with a black first. Like the other day, I saw some kids. They weren't really doing anything bad, but some black kids. They were clowning around at the park, and I said, "Hey, man, y'all, you guys need to make some money or something. Instead of just pretty much just idling themselves." And I told them, where my house was, and they came over and did some landscaping, and I just paid them a couple of dollars. I didn't pay them a couple of dollars, but I paid them. So I'm more inclined to give my money to these black kids than some Hispanics. So I don't dislike blacks. I just don't think our culture. I don't think black culture is important enough for me to even give. You know, to even really. It's like it's not really up there with like real culture. Which is industry, which is making the planet go around. Blacks don't produce steel. We don't produce lumber. We don't produce. We don't really maintain critical infrastructure. We don't build cars. So, that's the culture that I really care about. Industry. That's my culture. I don't care about black culture because it's not really black culture is no important to me than Eskimo culture. It's bullshit to me.
So, I'm just going to say, I believe people should be judged by their character and
Sure.
actions and not by a race. Okay. Every community has good people and bad people.
Sure. Sure.
So,
Hello.
okay, I
Sure.
have someone up here that probably you come up. Summer Mom, welcome to the panel. Do you have a question for this
Yes.
gentleman that's up here?
Hello. Hello, everyone. Hey, Jenny. Hey, everyone in the chat. And I don't know his name that's up here on the panel, but hello
So,
to you.
so real
But I do
quick,
have a question.
before you jump, before we leave here, I just want to ask them. So, do white culture mean something?
Yeah, I mean, if you sit back and think about it, white culture does mean something. White culture is Western civilization. Now, some hillbilly living in a tent somewhere or a trailer, with, smoking meth. That's to me, that's not white culture. That's a loser. But white culture, is Western civilization. It's a republic. It's democracy. It's institutions. It's a way of thinking, right? It's systems, right? It's systems like checks and balances, right? That's something that came out of Western civilization. The idea that the people can choose someone to represent them. That came out of Western civilization. Our Supreme Court and the way it's set up. That's Western civilization. Uh, the idea that I'm free to redress my government and I'm free to speak. That's Western civilization. Those rights were not really given to peasants prior to the founding of the Constitution. Um, but Western civilization, pretty much said that the peasants, you, me, all of us, we have a voice, we have a say so. Other civilizations, it's absolute dictatorships or monarchies. I mean, look at the Middle East, right? Look at the Middle East. They're not Western at all. They want to live like it's the goddamn Stone Ages, right? And I could argue that many African cultures, I mean, even though they were colonized, they practice dictatorships, with chiefdoms and things of this magnitude. So when I say white culture, I'm not talking about Billy Bob, right? I'm talking about industry, uh, the airline industry, the automotive industry, the semiconductor industry. I'm talking about the things that whites have ushered in, these things that have made our existence better. Even language, even our language, English, right? English is, a language that it's a part of the Latin languages, and we are able to communicate with each other globally with this language for trade and commerce. So, to be honest with you, it's you know, when I say white culture, I mean white achievement, white achievement,
What about
which
the
all
black?
whites didn't do it, by the way. Go ahead.
What about the black achievements?
Okay, well, can you give me just give? Okay, well, that's up
On
for
one
you to
second,
name.
hold on one
Yeah.
second here. Summer Mom, you drop down. I'm gonna drop the link again so you can come up. I just had that question, baby. Hold on. I just had that question, and then I'm gonna give you guys the panel. Um, Eugenia, you got to turn on your camera, accept something. I see you in the back office, but it won't let me up. Summer Mom, you can jump up. You can jump up. So,
Yeah, that'll be up for you to. That'll be up for you. I mean, to talk about.
correct, because from what I understand, what you everything you just said about white culture, that's not white culture, baby. That's corporation.
Oh, okay.
You're bragging about corporation, not the culture.
Okay.
Okay, that's what everything I just heard you say is all about you bragging about the corporation. I sat there, I let you, read off your list, but it's not making sense to me because that's corporation, not white culture, what you just described.
Okay.
Wouldn't you agree?
No.
So you wouldn't agree that what you just described was corporation. You would say
corporations
like that was
corporations are a part of culture, and industry is a part of culture, and music is a part of culture, and literature is a part of culture, and art is a part of culture. I
well,
mean,
that's black culture. Everything
even
you
if
just said, you just
even
named.
if you
I
go
don't have to name. That's black culture.
but
Our
even
music,
if you
our art. You just named black
but
culture.
even if you name
That's black culture.
even if you go to art, right? Even like
That's
architecture.
us. Music, art. That's
But let
black
me
culture. Go right ahead. Go
Well,
right.
well, like if you think about architecture, right? You think about Baroque, you think about classical Romanesque, you think about Spanish Rococo, you think about Art Deco. These are things that were ushered in by Western civilization and their architecture. You know, most of our buildings right now we see in these cities, that's Western architecture, that's Western culture. And these buildings are beautiful. Even in art museums, you know, when we talk about between the 10th and the 16th century and the Renaissance period, their oil paintings, their artwork inspired by Christianity is the best on the planet. It really is. I mean, and the fact that they had guilds to keep the same process going is absolutely astounding. You know, so to me, you know, no other music on the planet is better than classical music. No other music is better than Baroque music. No other music on the planet is like I don't care, you know, what people are making in other parts of the world. You're never going to have a Mozart coming out of India. You're just never going to have a Mozart ever coming out of Africa. You're never going to have a Mozart coming out of America. You may have very famous people, but Mozart has been here for hundreds of years, you know? And so, you know, even the musical instruments people are using, a lot of these musical instruments came out of Europe, out of Western civilization. So, you know, it's just so many things that these people have done that is just astounding.
Right. So, if I'm not mistaken, I did too hear you say you don't have any kids right
I
now.
don't. I don't.
Okay. And I just encourage you to kind of like shift your mindset because, you know, I believe both cultures, black cultures and white cultures, have value, right? I believe it's all based on and it reflects to the history, traditions, and the experience of different communities, right? Not so much of corporation. So, I mean, I will just feel bad because you have a black wife, is what you just told me. You have a black wife and you are black, right? You consider yourself black, right? Right?
Only for the sake of just this human bullshit that we do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so you consider yourself black.
Yeah.
So to consider yourself black and to be married, or you say your wife is black, and
Yes.
to feel that away about your culture, is awful. Like, because I didn't hear nothing good you had to say about the white culture, but your mindset believed the white culture are better and it has a lot more meaning than a black culture. But you sat here and you describe corporation and not the culture. So I understand that you have had black hurt or been disappointed by some blacks. You told me you have experienced bad black on black. I just hope you heal. And I really do hope you get, more deep with in tune with your culture. I don't believe all black people always make the right decisions or the right choice. Like I said, in both race, you have your good and your bad, but to just feel the way you feel is awful, in my opinion. Because you're black. You got to love the skin you in. You know what I'm saying? The morning when you get up, the mirror's not gonna lie to you. You're black.
Well, you were black, but why are you with the white man, and why do you live around white people if you're black?
Oh, whites are not bad at all. I like
Okay.
the way white men smell.
Okay.
I like the way their hands feel. So it's not that I I dislike my black men. It's just my preference. It's like going out picking out a red Jag over a black Jag, or
But why do you live around white people?
they drive. I would love to have more of my black people in my community. I have advocate for my race to let them know that we should be able to live wherever we want to live. I enjoy living amongst the whites. One, I like to let them know that I can eat, sleep, shop at your banks. You know what I'm saying? They expect for us to be on the other side of the gate. I enjoy living behind the same gates to give them a message. Hey, when you see a brown skinned person, you don't have to be afraid. We are equal. I like living among them because I like to remind them, hey, neighbor, that we are equal, that the blacks are equal with the whites. So I love living in their community among them. I love being at the same shopping centers with them and at the same banks with them, because they really don't, a lot of them don't want us in their community. But I do it for my ancestors. My ancestors died so I can live freely. I can live anywhere I want to live. So I do it for my ancestors. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, good evening, Miss Jeannie and chat. May I please ask a question to this man? Yes, you may. Okay, y'all, now the panel is open. I think we have had a good conversation. So I'm going to open the panel to the ones in the chat. I think I had a great conversation with him, you guys. And you know how we do it over here on the Internet Sister JK channel. It's fair. Even if you don't agree with this individual, we agree to disagree, and let's stay mindful that there is a difference between disagreement and disrespect, right? So even if you guys don't agree with this gentleman that's on the panel, let's still show him respect, right? We can absolutely have a voice, but let's be respectful. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Internet Sister JK channel.
Hey, Miss Jeannie. And I would have, respected and turned my camera on, but I am taking my hair out to do something
It's okay,
different.
baby. You
So
don't have to cam up. I'm not cammed up tonight.
I did want to ask this gentleman some very basic yes or no questions. That way I can gauge why he stated that he does not give a blank about Black culture, because that struck me as odd. So I do have some questions, if you don't mind just answering yes or no. And I do want to make sure I have your name. Can you hear me?
Yes, chaotic truth. Yeah.
Chaotic truth. Okay. Chaotic truth. Do you iron your clothing?
Yes.
Have you ever used an elevator?
Yes.
Do you eat peanut butter?
Yes.
When you ride the bus, does someone tell you you have to sit in the back?
No.
Are you able to vote?
Yes.
Okay. So with you answering those questions, are you aware that we've had two different Black communities that were burned to the ground by white civilization?
No.
Okay. So then that's why I wanted to ask that. We've already attempted to have our own. We've already attempted to be on the board with Black culture. But every time we get close with hospitals and our own schools and our own banks, they are burned down because people are afraid that we will rise above them, right? Out of jealousy, what have you. So when you state things like you don't care about Black culture, you use Black culture every day. Your hair looks the way it does because of Black culture. You look presentable on camera because of Black culture. It is not because of Western civilization. So I was just trying to gauge exactly why you stated that and made it a point to group all Black culture as something negative, because I don't want somebody to listen to what you said and just deem us as less than. That's how it came off, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Well, I think he gave more cooperation than he did culture when he did give a description of white culture. It
Right,
was
but our corporations were burned down by white
he-
corporations. So we
yes,
can't dismiss the fact that we did attempt it twice. It just was burned down. So it
yes.
did exist, but it doesn't exist anymore because another group decided we don't deserve it, or we're less than and we shouldn't have it. So when he stated that, it was just, why are we dismissing the fact that we have lots of our Black ancestors that tried to get us there and did get us there for quite some time? But now there's lakes and things like that built over our backs, built over our deaths, and that's not fair to us to be deemed less than by a Black man that utilizes our culture and our inventions and how we've progressed as a people, as just, this is over this, basically. That was it. I just wanted to ask him that.
Okay, great. And that was absolutely
And
powerful
thank you for
there.
asking my questions. I'm sorry, Miss Jeannie. Thank you for answering my questions. Chaotic.
And now that was done well, respectful, and humble. Thank you so much, sis,
Thank you, Miss
for coming
Jeannie.
up.
Yeah.
And okay, thank you. Great. So you couldn't do nothing but agree with her, right? Because that
No,
was,
I didn't agree with her on anything.
she just educated you.
No, she didn't. That's your opinion. She asked me questions about being to the back. She asked me the very direct questions. Has anybody ever asked me to get to the back of the bus? I said no. She asked me, have I ever eaten peanut butter or ate peanut butter? I said yes. Okay, I've done those things, but I don't agree with what she's saying. I don't believe that Black people
She
have
was showing
culture.
you Black culture, and she also showed you,
Peanut
but
butter is culture.
she also talked. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, all right,
yeah.
I'm listening to you.
And she
What you mean?
also educated you on that Black culture, that the Blacks also had cooperations before they was burnt down, because that's what you was just over here trying to give the white culture credit for cooperation, for the
What
corporate
corporations? What corporations
corporate
were in?
world,
What
for the corporate
corporations were
world.
in? What corporations were in Rosewood or Tulsa? What corporations were there? And why were the men there unable to protect Rosewood or Tulsa? Were they weak? Were they stupid? Did they lack the tactical expertise? You know, how did they allow themselves to get supposedly this town burned? I mean, were they, is the white man smarter than them when it comes to tactical warfare? So the thing is, I know about all of that, but I just don't look at Black culture as anything that important, to be honest with you, because there's
So
nothing
Black
important about
Wall
it.
Street wasn't important to you?
No, it wasn't
It
important.
was Black owned banks over there. It was grocery stores,
What was
hotels,
the name of the What was the
doctor's
name of the
office.
bank?
I would have to do the research on that.
And
But
even if it
I
was
was
a bank, why didn't
absolutely
they bank? Why didn't they pay it?
educated.
But why didn't they pay a security force, or why didn't they have the ability to protect it?
Oh, so
You know?
you just want to go against Blacks, it sounds like.
No, I don't want to go against
Be-
Blacks at all. No, you
yeah,
were just asking me a question. I was giving you my
No,
answer.
no, but the young lady just came up and she pretty much stated about the Black corporation.
Well, what
Okay,
were the
or
corporations
Blacks.
in Tulsa? What were the names of them?
Tulsa
Maybe,
was known
may-
as Black Wall Street.
yeah, but what were the names of the corporations there? Since there were corporations there,
Well,
why
I
isn't?
was like I just told you, I have to do the research to know the names, but I was absolutely educated that there was Black banks, grocery stores, hotels, doctor's office.
Well, what's the
It was
names of the hotels
everywhere.
that were there?
I couldn't tell you the name of the hotels that was there, but I can definitely tell you it was a white mob allegedly that attacked the community,
Well, why didn't the
killing
black mob
residents
attack them?
and
Why didn't
destroying
black?
hundreds of homes and business.
Well, why
I can
didn't the
tell
black
you
mob
that.
attack them and do the same thing to their stuff? Were they scared? Were they cowards?
Well, so now when a let's go back to the reason we here. So now that when a Black young boy stood up for himself, right? He stood up for himself. Okay. It was a problem with you. You say he should have de-escalated. He should have left from under the tent. Okay, now you're saying why didn't Black people stand up for themselves?
Yeah,
Come
because
on,
blacks,
do you want us to stand up for
because Carmelo
ourselves
didn't
or not
own,
stand up for
but you're arguing that blacks owned all of this. They had assets.
The
So you
black
have
Wall
every right
Street
to protect your assets. Why didn't they protect their assets? Carmelo didn't own any assets there. This was just two teenage boys fighting. So it's a little bit of a different thing. I mean, these are
So he didn't have
homes,
the
these are
right to protect
businesses.
his life, but you're saying someone should have protect business, but
They
Carmelo
should have,
should protect his life.
but you said there was a mob, right? You
Mhm.
said there was a mob, right?
Allegedly, that's what I was educated.
I'm just going by
I
what you
was
were saying.
taught.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that there was a whether it was a mob or a white person that came in
All
and
right.
destroyed, killed a residents.
Sabrina says the same reason why Emmett Till's mom couldn't protect him. Emmett Till's mom was in Chicago. His coward uncle didn't protect him. His uncle was a coward. He let white boys walk up into his home and take that boy out the home. He was a coward. He was a coward. But
I
go
have
ahead.
somebody else
Go
up
ahead,
here
Keith.
that may have questions. Who I have up here? Gina. I'm sorry. Go right ahead, honey. I got Gina up here now. Gina. Hey, sis. You on the stage. Gina.
Well,
Yeah. I think. Okay, hold on.
oh,
Wait. Wait, I have one more person. Look like she can. It says your device not connecting. Your device was connecting on this one, Gina, but you dropped down. Let's see here. Okay, hold on.
Ms. Nee says the largest bank, black-owned financial institution is Liberty Bank and Trust Company, while One United Bank is the nation's largest black-owned bank. Ms. Nee, do you bank with that bank since it's the largest black-owned bank?
Hold on. Let me add her to the stage. Okay. We have someone else here. Okay. I add Gina. Can you hear me? Take your phone off of mute.
Shauna.
Okay. Sabrina said our ancestors did not be invited.
Ma'am,
Be,
I actually have to leave, ma'am, but it was great
okay.
talking to you. How often do you go live?
Um, I at least go live maybe 3 times out of the week. You're
All right.
welcome over here anytime.
Yeah, I'll try to come
Go.
back.
Okay, try to
Oh
come
yeah.
back.
I'm
Okay.
sorry for leaving so abruptly, but yeah.
No, no, no. You take care. Thank you for
Have a good
coming
one.
up. Okay, have a good evening. Okay, have a great evening. Okay, great. Well, I I really don't. I don't think he was trolling. It's sad, you guys, but we definitely live in a world of black people that really feel like that about their own black people. And that's why I asked, have he had black hurt? Because it tends to be sometime, and I don't know if this is his case because I didn't even ask him this. It tends to be like you're reject or bully as a kid growing up from your own race. Sometimes kids can be harsh, and it will just totally make you grow up and just pretty much have beef with the whole race. um yeah, he definitely sounds like there's some type of trauma there. Yeah. Yeah, it sounded like his wife or somebody was talking to him in the background because he kept putting me on hold. So I think he was trying to multitask and whole conversation and do whatever he was doing because his mic came off, and I did too hear a female voice. whether he's on another panel or that was in his home, but I did hear a female voice he was going, talking to. And I did explain that to him. That's why he says, well, she just asked me, did I sit on the back of the bus or do I eat peanut butter or on the elevator, because Black culture is what I explained to him. Yeah, he it sounds like it. It sounds like he hate his own race, because I asked him, do he realize that he's Black? Do he accept that he's Black? And he was like, yeah, because of this human thing. But I'm like, every time you look in the mirror, you're reminded that you're Black. See, you always have to come over with your jokes. You can get serious and be on point, but you like the joke. Tell him some. I bet he's saying spin that by Young Miami with his chest when he's by himself. Miss me with that. No, he like classical music. He said classical music is the best. Ashley boy mom, you was getting real mad down there in the chats. But I have met other Blacks that pretty much um carry on like he carry on. And that just come from Black hurt. They either they got beat up, rejected, done wrong by, Black people, and they just grow to hate their own race or dislike their own race. Exactly. You know what, Eugenia, you said it, and that is so true. And that's why I allow him to stay up here. That's why I allow a lot of people to come on this panel and talk. We need to know the people that's walking amongst us. Like, yeah, I know some people probably will boot them, block them, and let them, oh, he's a troll. But no, it's always good to get in the mind of others. That was a great view into some of the scariest mindset that truly walk amongst us as well. I really just wanted to try to help him in his self. Yeah, hatred and misinformation. Shaking my head. I know I kept trying to get you up him. Gina, I don't know what's going on, but your mic wouldn't turn on. Then is one say your device wasn't connecting. But yeah, it's definitely giving self hatred. You think so, Sabrina? No, I like the fact that, I didn't agree with the things that he was saying, but I guess his tone of voice, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't disrespectful, right? And you can't beat a person up from the way they think. You know what I'm saying? You just can't beat a person up for the way they think. You can't. You just have to listen to people, and mental health is real. I would say mental health illness is real. To have a problem, it's almost like you're not happy with the skin you in. Like you don't love you. Like you don't. Yeah, and here I am over here. I told him I don't look at race. I look at human race. I don't look at colors. He's like, well, why you with a white man? Because I like the way they hand feel. I like the way they smell. And somebody was over here talking about white people smell like dogs. Where was somebody used to be in my chat talking about, ugh, how can you date, a Caucasian man? Don't they smell like dogs? That's why I say I like the way they smell. But it's just y'all, we really do have some people out here. It's real, mental health is an issue. And then, once again, you just can't get mad at a person because the way they think. I'm with Miss Eugenia. She said she would really want to get up here and talk to him and help him. Exactly. Because some people probably never, ever, ever heard another black person speak like that. Y'all be honest. Have y'all ever heard? Have y'all, like, I guess Miss Eugenia haven't, because she said it was just, what did she say? Hold on. What did you say, Miss Eugenia, about getting up here? Oh yeah, that was a great view into some of the scariest mindset. Yeah, so some people probably didn't know that other black people really looks down on black culture and black people. So, hey, it was just good getting to know his mindset. And like Sabrina said, he absolutely was very respectful despite, different point of views. And you know what? He's probably, and I thank you guys for it. I know there probably was a lot of y'all down there in the chat eating him up, excuse me, saying all kind of distasteful things, but I ain't get to catch it. But what I like is he's probably used to having black people attack him for sharing his opinion and the way he think and the way he feels. I'm sure he probably, which I asked him, do he have a lot of backlash? And he said yes. Yes, he do. Yes, he does have a lot of backlash on it, and I can expect that, because one thing about us, I must say about us, black people and black women, we don't play, okay, about our race race and people attacking our race and our culture, despite the fact that we will go back and forth with each other. It's just like, I'm black and proud. So I'm just glad that we didn't get up here and yell and curse and using profanity and misbehaving, but we was able to have that conversation with him in a very respectful way. Right. So now Ashley. So I'm sure that probably was your first time hearing someone talk like that about their own race or their own culture. I'm telling you, I'm sure he's probably been fired, terminated, or he probably didn't get the job, probably interview with the black manager and they deny him the position. He's probably been demoted by a black manager, versus where a white person probably gave him his position and helped him. You know, um, I can't relate to the things that he was saying about his black race or about the black culture, but I can say I have had a lot of my sisters that look like me go against me, right? And try to destroy my business or my success. I have had more of the women that look like me to do that, versus the women who don't look like me is the ones that sends me referrals and assists me with my company to grow. Now I got a couple black sisters, don't play about me, that sends me referrals, that's really 10 toes down with me in my business. So but I have had more of my sisters to come against me than to help me. So if I didn't have the heart that I have, I could have turned bitter like him. So I just really feel like he's been rejected a lot by his own race to have him feeling that way. That's just my opinion. And I'm gonna say this: me and my ex-husband, we done got into it hard, hard. Y'all know I'm long-winded and I can talk forever, but I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to get up here and talk. But me and my ex-husband, we done got into it real bad, y'all. I definitely did too have an issue. One of my biggest questions I always ask my ex-husband is, why? Why did the men allow our ancestors to be raped and beat? Like, why nobody never just, why they ain't just break away, take guns, turn the guns, on the masters? I'm like, why they just didn't fight them, take the guns, and turn on the masters? Why they didn't turn on the masters? Same thing that he kind of asked, like, why didn't they fight? Why didn't they fight? I absolutely used to ask my ex-boyfriend, my ex-husband, that, because I said, well, what happened now? What happens now if they try to go back to that? I don't know. I just felt like it was enough of men that could apply it against the masters and took their weapons. But hey, that was just my thing. I used to have with my ex-husband all the time. Like, you better be prepared and ready to make sure you protect, your wife and your kids. Oh no, not pacify them, just respect them. Not pacify them. I'm just not gonna get in the fuss with someone who think different than me. I'm not gonna get in the fuss with someone who mindset, is his mindset is his mindset. Like, if that's how you want to live your life, I'll try to encourage you, but I'm not gonna sit here and like write you off or start a fight with you, because that got to be such an unhappy life already to not be happy in the skin you in. Yeah, it sounds like his mind is made up. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely not for us to change anybody's mind. We can try to encourage you or educate you, or, have a conversation. No, y'all had the right to speak y'all mind. I think everybody did good. I think everybody did good because, like I said, even with me grabbing the link, Sabrina came up here and she definitely did her big one. None of us came up here talking to him in a disrespectful way. No, everybody had the right to speak their opinion. Over here, we open minded and we independent thinkers, and we don't have to agree. Oh, now that go Angela Dickerson. I'm glad she gone, because look, y'all, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's right, what he was called to, Angela. He probably was picked on by his looks, and he probably hated the fact that he was, born black. That could have been the problem too. Like I said, it's been rejections there. And kids are cruel. Going to school and stuff, kids are real cruel. He probably was accepted by more white people. And I didn't get to ask him those kind of questions when he was here, but whites probably accept him, more than blacks, because what you call them, whitewash or whatever. There is a lot of kids that, y'all know how we can get now. We can really judge our people by their looks. So he probably wasn't able to hang out with the cool boys and the good looking boys, where, a group of white boys probably accept him by his looks. Amora sent him. I don't know. I mean, he could have, but I mean, why would she send him to down talk the black culture? And I agree with you. Don't, sis, don't take no shit. But he said he's married to a black woman. Yep. See, you understand what I'm saying, Sabrina. It's definitely self-loathing. Because he seemed to be a nice person, right? And the way he just feel about blacks, I honestly got to believe. I know some kids can be really mean. I mean, no, for real. Um, Kids can be real mean, adults can be real mean, but it's something that have him there, that he has a problem with the skin he's in. I don't think it have much to do with, you know, black showing up late or not having items on the menu. I think it's deeper than that. Yes, yes, Marina. Yes, yes. That's what I'm saying. That's what I felt. I didn't feel as if he was a troll. I didn't feel as if he was, I felt, y'all know I'm always talking about I feel people hurt. Yeah, but I'm with you on that. I sense that. He seems well spoken and smart, but he also seems hurt from childhood. Yep. It can absolutely come from childhood because to have two black parents, right? To have two black parents. He spoke about his parents' belief. He spoke about his parents' religion. One was I think Jehovah Witness and the other one was Baptist. And yep, he sounded well educated. I just believe it's black hurt. I believe it's black hurt, just like it's church hurt. And a lot of people turn people from being believers and Christians, and church hurt can kind of have people being rebellion against God and having negative things to say about God due to church hurt. I definitely think that this gentleman has some type of hurt. That's why with me talking to him, having this real conversation with him, I asked him, have he experienced black on black hurt? And he says yes. He have experienced black on black hurt because I just sensed that and I heard it in his voice. It was just too much of hate there for his own race. I really do think that my thumbnail is probably what brought him in. I think my thumbnail probably what brought him in, and we was talking about the Carmela Anthony, and then he just stayed up here a little too long, and we got to talking about got off track. Yeah, I think my thumbnail is what drew him in here. Who thought you started a fight? I don't think nobody started a fight in here. I think everybody did good. Like I said, I think the comments was very respectful. Everybody was just speaking how they feel. Now, Angela came in here and called the young man with his real, she called him ugly. But outside of that, if y'all threw any negative comments or disrespectful comments, I didn't catch them. I said I didn't catch him. I said I'm sure y'all probably was talking shit down there, but I probably didn't catch him. But for the most part, I think everybody, handled it with great respect. Even though that was like Regina said, it was absolutely a great view of a mindset because this could have been someone who was standing next to you in the grocery store and you wouldn't even, you know what I'm saying? He could have been standing in front of you or behind you or at a restaurant and you wouldn't even think, looking at him, you wouldn't even think like he think the way he think. So, you never know what's walking amongst you. And I believe it was a great conversation too. And that's what I want. I want real conversations, We may anticipate for one topic, but being that it's open panel over here, you probably would never, be surprised what, come up here on this panel. Like I said, as long as it's not disrespectful. I don't think he thought nobody was starting to fuss with him. He didn't complain. He didn't complain. I think he was so humble and so respectful to us. He would just say, "No, I don't agree," and he listened. He listened and he respond. I don't think he thought nobody was fussing with him. I said I'm glad we didn't give him that energy. Y'all know, and that's why if you go back and listen, when I first came on him, I came on here with walk him like a dog, walk him like a dog. And then I decided, oh no, I don't want to set that tone. Okay. I don't want to set that tone because I truly feel like both parties, both families are hurting. So I put on my little beach waves. I put on my little beach waves to try to set the atmosphere so we don't come in here all hyped or whatever the case may be. So Ashley say if he think I was starting a fuss, I wasn't with him. I'm just engaging and listening. I just be blown by the hate of your own race. That's not self-love, right? At all. Shouldn't teach the kids that hate or no hate. That's why I said to him, I'm glad to hear he don't have any kids. And I said, hopefully he would shift his mindset before he start having kids, because that wouldn't be a great way to teach his kids. No, he seemed very calm. He jumped. He said he had something to do. I think he spent a great amount of time over here on the panel. Oh, I said that to him. I asked him that question. I said, so when you see a racist person, when a racist person see you, do you not think they're gonna think you're black? Because he started sounds like you African American. He's like, no, I'm American. He like, I'm American. And he took me back because Africans, right? Our black people who's freshly from Africa, like come to the States from Africa, they ask that, can y'all please stop saying y'all African American and just say y'all American? So there's a lot of Africans don't like for us to say we African American. So when I said to him, so you're African American, he's like, no, I'm just American. I'm just American. I'm like, oh my, he's not happy in the skin, he's in. He don't want to be identified as a black person. And he said, I said, so when a racist person see you, you don't think they see you as black? He said a racist person, he'd have blocked his mind. He won't even talk bad about a racist person. He just said they mean nothing to him. They mean nothing to him. Oh, he's still here in the chaotic. He's still here in the chat. Where he at? Where he at? Y'all, I don't see him. I don't see him, but I told him he's welcome to come back over here. Oh, I make my potato salad with raisin, okay? Watch out. In my green bean casserole. Let me find out. He make his potato salad with raisin. Ain't nothing wrong with making potato salad with raisins. And I don't cook, okay, my steak all the way well, right? When you cut into my steak, it's definitely pink. Oh, he the one that said it was a great conversation. Look, y'all, I'm just pinning it up him. Hold on. Oh, I didn't even realize that was him. Great conversation. Oh, I didn't even realize that was him. Let me go follow him. Let me go subscribe to his page, y'all. He need to know it's some good black people out here. And our black culture rock. Yes. Let me go find him. Baby, we absolutely rock. You are invited. You are invited to the barbecue with Big Mom grandkids. I don't know who told you we bad people or what experience you had. Hold on, y'all. See if I can find him. Yeah, oh, yep. I found my boy, y'all, and I subscribed to him. No, y'all, she didn't see him. It was exactly what I said. I think my thumbnail is what brought him. And if you go to his channel, he's been sharing things. He's absolutely been sharing things about the Carmela case. So yeah. He wasn't a troll. Yeah, if you look at his lives, yeah, the last 2, 3, 4 days, it's been about Karmelo Anthony. Oh yeah. For the last 7 past days, he's been yeah, his lives been about Carmelo. So it was the thumbnail that brought him here, y'all. He wasn't trolling. And I'm glad he pulled up. No, I not to the cookout. No, no, not to the cookout. Okay, but my house. If you come to my house, it's definitely raisins and the potato salad. But if you go to my family cookout, okay, if you go to my family reunion, my family cookout, you know you ain't gonna find no raisin, no potato salad. But they would definitely tell you that if you come to my house, that's you gonna get the potato salad with the raisin in it. Girl, I gotta learn how to cook. But both culture, y'all already know I like me a vanilla guy. What you say? So he's been around for a while, and I see he already gets a lot of yes. His channel. Let me see how long his channel. I don't know how long his channel. Let me see, but he had 13.1 subscribers. I'm gonna have to go over and listen to some of his talks. But I went and I subscribed to his page. Yeah, I subscribed to his page, y'all. But I definitely think it was the thumbnail. Y'all, I'm gonna have to come back because we just kind of like chit chat over here, but I have some videos. I got to see what's going on, why my videos wasn't playing, because I really wanted to do the video reactions is what I wanted to do. I didn't plan on just having open conversation or open panel. I wanted to do the reactions of the videos. Let me see what took place. Why y'all couldn't hear. Let me see if y'all can still. Let me see if y'all can hear now. Can y'all hear it? Can y'all hear it? So was y'all able to hear this? So was y'all able to hear the videos or no? I'm about to get my audio, find out. Maybe go in my YouTube studio. I don't know. I'm about to see what's going on. Were y'all able to hear that audio? Thank you so much, Brina. Brina, for dropping out the bushes. Thank you so much. I have to go back to the beginning of your live, but great conversation. Have a relaxed evening, everybody. And likewise, baby. Thank you so much, sis. Angela said, I think he wanted that smoke from us, so he felt as if his validated as if he's validated for his way of thinking about blacks. No, 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 no. We're definitely not gonna do that, right? I'm so glad, like I said, we was able to have real conversation. Everybody was able to express their feelings, their thoughts based on his opinion in the most humble and respectful way, because that's just how it should be. So yeah, I got to see why these videos are not playing, but that was my ultimate goal, to come out here and talk about how Carmelo walked in as a child at the track meet and walked out as a suspect and charged with first degree murder and sentenced to 35 years. So I wanted to play all these videos and do video reactions, but for whatever reason, it didn't go as planned, but it still was a great conversation. Still was a great conversation. Yep, I believe it. And that's why I don't look at life. I really don't look at life as a color, right? A human race to me. Human race to me. Because I feel it's good and bad in all race, right? And I definitely love to live among other race, right? Because, you know, let them know, hey, we're not all bad people, we're good people. And to also let them know, hey, we can accomplish and we can achieve and live among you guys in y'all community and shop with y'all. And, iron sharpen iron. And I always, for years, I never look at it as just living in a community with a certain race, but I love living among people, like-minded people. And I mean, I welcome my race of people in the same community that I live in. And I always aspire my race of people to be my neighbor, as long as you don't come with the Kool-Aid. Don't come knocking on my door talking, can you borrow Kool-Aid, mayonnaise until you get your check next month? No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Oh yes, oh yes, that's what it is over here, and I've been announcing that, sis. Definitely bird's eyes views, of some mindsets. My panel is open to everybody, and my listen, I'm just all about real conversations. Don't come over here bringing no lies. If you going to come over here, just be real. Be yourself. My panel is for everybody to be themselves. Be you. I can express to my supporters how important it is to be you. Like, you don't have to change your ways to try to fit in. Be you. I want to know you. And I love independent thinking. I love for people to think for themselves. And definitely, if you agree, great. But if you don't agree, I'm fine with that. Agree with me, I love you. Disagree with me, I still love you. Both times, I'ma love you. See, I know y'all was gonna start trolling me. I said he got me when he asked me that. I said, whoa. He got me when he said, well, why you like white guys? I was like, now look at him. Now he trying to get my supporters to start trolling me. So some of moms say, but Jeannie, do you really like the way white people have smell, sis? Especially while it's wet. I promise y'all, I have not smelled the dog smell yet. Everybody say that. And then it be the people, like, how would you know how wet people have smell if you ain't never slept with them or lived with them? I'm telling y'all, I don't know where y'all get that from. I haven't smelled it yet. Maybe, my people don't smell like dog, or they don't smell like dog. And I'm talking about we just spent long hours on the boat, and I ain't never I ain't never smelled no doggy smell on him. Never. Yeah, I ain't never smelled no doggy smell on him, y'all. I don't know. I definitely don't know where y'all get that from. I promise y'all. I haven't. Hell, y'all probably should be asking him how he feel about that spritz. Y'all know that spritz smell a hot mess. Wrapping your hair up, having a hot steaming shower. Oh, that spritz. That, our type of hairspray. And our product, right? We put in our hair. I always had to make sure I go to bed anyway with a sleeping cap, a bunny on. But y'all know our hair products can ruin our pillowcase. So I definitely think it's more harder for a white man to adjust to sleeping with a black woman than a black woman adjust to sleeping with them, because and that's another thing. White cultures wash their hair. Caucasian people wash their hair daily, in the morning and at night, and they blow dry. Some people put mousse on their hair and just let it air dry. Hey, break room, welcome in the chat, girl. I'm getting ready to jump, but yeah. Blessings to you too, sis. Blessings to you too. Yeah, I got to get back in. Get back in. 2K got a lot going on. Y'all know I was doing the interview reaction about me and 2K interview when I got the call or the text message about Karmelo Anthony was found guilty. So hold on. Hey, bro, what's up? Hold on, guys. But yeah, guys, I'm going to get ready and jump. We definitely had a good time over here having a conversation, y'all. And I absolutely feel a lot better. Last 2 days I was down and out, but I think Carmilla is gonna be okay. I'm gonna be back to play these videos, y'all, and I think we're gonna have a good outcome of his appeal. Yes, yes. What you say you got to go to the house and do? No. Tell her, joint store. You better tell her right now. Tell her what you got to do. Come on. I got to come to her house and get on live with her. Tell her what? And tell them that I'm her granddaughter, her niece. Her niece. And you just want to tell her what? I'm her niece, and I'm the biggest in the largest. Well, baby, you just told them on live, y'all. This is the internet brother Todd's granddaughter. I'm glad he got her this summer, y'all. yeah, I got to do some content with her. When I tell y'all, she is a trip. Well, you are welcome to your aunt house anytime, okay? And I'm gonna let you get on live, okay? Okay, I love you. Okay, have a good night. Okay, great. So his grandkids live out of state. I think they live in Georgia, and he's so excited because he's been waiting on his granddaughter and his grandson, and I guess they made it here today. So they're gonna be hanging out with their grandpa this summer, the internet brother Todd, and baby, his granddaughter, she is a mess. I think she's about 8 years old, and she was out on the dance floor at my mom's party. She had to be about 7. And she came running to me. She told some auntie, I've been dancing so hard. Check my hair. Is my hair in place? How about my shorts and my shirt? Is everything still tucked? I ain't never seen a little girl like her. When I tell you it's the old lady trapped in her body, but she ran off that dance floor, y'all, and she said, Auntie, please check my hair. How I look in the back. Everything's still in place. I was just dancing. I said, you what? I said, but baby, you look just how you look when you came in the party. Nothing out of place. Your hair still in place. Your pants, your shirt, everything tucked and looking good. When I tell y'all, she's a real princess. She's a real princess. I already told her granddaddy, he can get ready, baby, because when she get of age and get ready to marry, he gonna have to pay out his pockets for a big wedding, because that one there is a princess for real. But listen, y'all, it was absolutely a honor to be able to come out here and chit chat with you guys tonight for these 3 hours. I really do. I really did enjoy myself. I enjoyed myself. Even for our pop-up guest. I didn't anticipate on having a guest, but it worked out like that. My videos wasn't playing, so I'm glad he popped up. I went over and subscribed to his channel. I'm gonna go and listen to some of his lives and shorts over there on his channel, y'all. Go follow him, y'all. Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to get these videos working, y'all. Probably tomorrow. Yeah, it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't a fair trial. The parents spoke, so they spoke and they admitted that their child didn't have a fair trial. Um, they really didn't like the fact that it was nobody on the jury, but looked like them. But however, they just felt, they really had trust in the courts. They had trust in the courts, and they thought the courts was going to um play fair. It wasn't a fair trial. Yep, they said one of the girls lied on the stand. It was just, it was awful. And they just thought, oh, the jury gonna catch this and the jury gonna catch this, and but the jury already, in their opinion, minds as well, they already had their mind made up. They already had their mind made up. Guys, I hate to do this, but yeah, it have came to an end. Y'all know how the internet sister like to close out. I love you all, and there's nothing you guys can do about it. Mic off. Until next time, I'll call you back.